First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And low one, I'm gonna title this lesson, pay very close attention to this. And I did a video not too long ago on this, dealing with this climate change situation, which, this is definitely not something new. All right, this has actually been in the workings for years, decades even, that they've had this in the plans, that they would use this, okay, as a means to bring about draconian measures and change. All right, and ultimately some heavy lockdowns. So what we're seeing now is the devil moving with speed, with haste, in order to try and openly declare, I guess, war on this boogeyman of so-called climate change. And this will be unlike the previous ones, because with this, it is 100% subjective to what they say about it. Okay, you thought the Pandi, trusting the signs and all that, was bad enough. Well, you haven't seen anything yet. So let's read this real quick, and this is definitely something that you want to pay attention to. The fact that a lot of individuals don't even know what's going on here, it's going to work against them. But as it says, the war on climate change is coming again. Last week, a senior member of parliament for the UK Labour Party went on television demanding the UK, maybe even the entire world, be on a warlike footing to combat climate change. So the narrative begins, right? And in the video that I did, I believe it was energy companies being worried that Biden would declare a national state of emergency because of climate change, giving them sweeping powers that they could then use to implement even more harsh lockdowns than what we saw in previous years. So it says, speaking on BBC's flagship political magazine Newsnight, Barry Gardiner, MP, argued for unity of purpose against climate change's existential threat. And keep in mind that this will all introduce the normalization of the carbon footprint, carbon taxation, 15-minute cities. I mean, all of these things. Okay, I mean, a complete change of your way of life. So this is just the beginning step of that, at least in their plans. If this were a war, we wouldn't be arguing about whether the Labour strategy or the Tory strategy were better. We would be working together to try and win. Well, it is a war. It is a war for survival. And climate change threatens everything. So actually, instead of playing party political games about who is up, who is down, what we need to be doing is saying, let's get together, let's mobilize on a war footing, and that is what is needed. See? So basically, this is what it is, right? Oh, let's and the use of war, mobilize, these are all deliberately put in there. Okay, because certain keywords push a narrative a certain kind of way, and they know exactly what they're doing. All right, so it says here, 2 days later, the exact same thoughts were expressed in a Financial Times column by Camilla Cavendish, former head of David Cameron's Downing Street Policy Unit and Kennedy School of Government alumnus. The answer is surely to invoke a wartime spirit and make the fight against climate change a joint endeavor against a common enemy that they declare. So they come and tell you tomorrow the common enemy's changed into this, and they seem to be the only ones who can define how this enemy works and what it does and all of these things and how to combat it. So is it surprising that this sentiment is being echoed? Because also it's being echoed in the U.S. There are people calling on Biden and the Democrats and all that to say, hey, you need to declare a national emergency and you need to do it now. in the name of climate change. So everything is going to be in the name of climate change. And I'm pretty sure there's going to come a time when even using those terms together, they're going to start striking your channel and all of that, saying you're going against, I don't know, whatever, official sources or whatnot. So it says here, if the public and political will is there, human ingenuity can prevail with remarkable speed. In the Second World War, America transformed its manufacturing base to produce tanks and ammunition. The vid Pandy resulted in the discovery and development of Vanessas at scale, saving millions of lives. Oh, is that right? Is that what happened? Is that why they got Fauci on the hot seat right now? Is that why they're finding, I mean, let me just, you know what they're finding on this. Is that why so many questions are coming out since this was such a great success? It says it's interesting to note the comparison to the, to the Pan D, but we'll come back to that. Yeah, so even the author of this article realizes this. Now it says here, the campaign isn't isolated to the UK. In fact, it kicked off on the other side of the Atlantic, with the Inquirer running an article headlined, "President Biden should address the nation and declare war on climate change," on July 16th. And this article argued, right, that Biden and his aides need to grab that metaphoric bullhorn and call the TV networks to announce a primetime address from the Oval Office that would declare a national emergency, in essence, a state of war, to fight climate change. So, is this something that is just out in the wind somewhere? No. They're talking about it more and more and more, and it's not in just one area. It's in the US, it's in the UK, and that's how they move. Next thing you know, you got CBDCs all over the place. You got, climate lockdowns, because that's what's coming. Okay, that's what's coming. It says Joe Biden himself called climate change an existential threat on July 27th. So if it's an existential threat, I wonder what means and motives and, well, really mainly what means they're going to use to protect the world from this new threat. All right. It says here, the invocation of a metaphorical war is, of course, nothing new. War is very important. War is a very important word in the world of politics and propaganda. It has, or is assumed to have, an immediate effect on the collective public mind. You see? So basically, this is what they do. They throw these words out there, and they're setting up the stage for this this climate stuff. And you'll see. All right, you'll see it's not going to stop there. They look like they really want to utilize this one. Okay, it says here, more pragmatically, being at war creates an emergency, which justifies temporarily suppression of human rights and freedoms and permits increases in the powers assumed by the state. So when they declare emergencies for whatever reasons, it gives them emergency powers that they can then use to override your freedoms and rights and so on and so forth. Okay, so you see why it's so important to pay attention to this when they start coming out with these new enemies that you got to declare war on. Okay. It says here, see, quote unquote, the war on drugs, the war on terror, the war on, the big C, and now the war on climate change. So pretty much every time they say that and they declare this, they come with sweeping powers and then this time it's going to be much crazier than before. It says, then Prince, now King Charles, expressed the exact same sentiment in the exact same words in a speech to the COP26 in November 2021. And I remember this. Okay, I remember this. Contemporary opinion pieces in The Guardian agreed with him. So once again, this isn't something new that they're doing. But it seems that now is the time that they're ready to really push this. Okay. What else they got here? It says they were in fact echoing a University College London report from May 2021. CNN warned we were losing the war on climate change. So it seems like people don't even know that there's this so-called war on climate change, and really that's how they do it. They just come up with something, and all of a sudden this thing catches fire, and you're like, where did this come from? And they're like, well, this has been here for decades, but it's now more pressing, so we have to bring it up now. All right, it says in April 2019, plagiarizing the exact same headline, The Economist, or in The Economist, from a year earlier in August 2018. All right, and then it goes on, it has some more in here. But, you know, you pretty much get the gist. I'll link this in the description box so you can get access to it. But the point is, you know, it may just be a matter of time before they do this. They declare some emergency, or they start really pushing this climate change to the forefront. And along with that comes the unification of these world countries, governments, X, Y, and Z, you know, forming a body that can be used to combat this climate change. All right, so as the scriptures say, let's get that real quick. The book of Sirach 5:15, be not ignorant of anything in a great or small matter. So it may not seem like something you've even heard of or something you should look into, but these things that start out small, okay, eventually become big enough to where they affect your life. And in most cases than none, it's in a negative way. So with that, Lord willing, it was edifying and you were informed. And in closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.